ritualist. Even good ritualists have memory lapse. Be cognizant that you may have somebody who is a lodge officer who just can't memorize, or he has it memorized, can give it to his windshield, can give it in the shower, but as soon as he gets in lodge, boom. Cognizant of the fact, and maybe you even want to give that brother a hand. All right, Masonic education. Was there any Masonic education? There should be Masonic education at every single meeting. What was the education, and was it of educational value? So, there is no Masonic education. What can you suggest to the worshipful master? Not a rhetorical question. Somebody got to answer.
Read the code.
Well, you know, actually, starting by having the
Well, David,
an educational program.
You blocked out on us there for a minute.
Oh,
go ahead.
What I was saying is that that's a great idea to use the code for education. That's a great way to start an educational program, is to read a piece of the code at each meeting, and then you can develop a further program from that.
Okay, good. Cause it to be read in your lodge. Anything else? That's the sum of our Masonic education.
Well, you can always recommend other members of the district who have particular knowledge in a particular area to have them come and do Masonic education.
Okay.
And what about Grand Lodge committees, Bob?
Ooh, you've read ahead, Mike. Yes. Committees, great one. See if there's any members of the committees in your district. Put them on the spot. Give them a call and say, hey, we need you to be a guest speaker at a lodge, or have the worshipful master call them, put them on the spot. Okay, anybody else? Yes.
We have a gentleman in District 13 who has set up Masonic education, both for the District 13 site and for his own office as secretary of one of the lodges. And we've had Washington Masonic education twice a week ever since we've had to go COVID.
Wow. Okay. Cause it to be read, guest lodge, committee in your district. Research and Education Committee has a list of guest speakers. You can always take on a Masonic symbol. House safety, by that sort of reminder, not all education has to be Masonic. Matter of fact, one of the past district deputies came up with an idea, since he had worked for the PUDs. Does your wife know where your electrical panel is and know how to shut off the water, the sewer, your gas mains? So somewhere here, I made a binder. I thought it was such a great idea that I made a binder with all the shutoffs, where they are, how to find them, and what to do with them. So again, doesn't have to be Masonic. Hopefully, they've done a lot of Masonic work before they do, but that was just an aside for me and an opinion. Okay, financial clarity. What is financial clarity? We talk about it all the time. Yeah, you got to be clear about the finances, transparency, clarity, whatever you want to call it. Oh, a dreaded situation. Worshipful Master asks for the treasurer's report. Treasurers say, we can pay all the bills, Worshipful Master. That is not financial clarity. What should be included in his report? Again, not a rhetorical question.
How much they spent, how much they have in savings, how much they have in investments.
Okay, savings.
Paid for the bills.
Budget?
What's I'm saying, Mike?
Are they within their budget?
Are they within the budget? Okay. Anybody else?
Should add checking with that and see if you have a positive balance.
Okay. Savings, checking, within budget. What about
Some-
investments? Yeah, go ahead, Don.
I was going to say somebody already said investments.
Okay. Are the members being told what's happening with the budget shortfall, how to rectify? Are bills presented? Are they clearly stated? Yeah, we owe Brother Fred $75. Okay, great. What do we owe him $75? Is it lodge business? Is it budgeted? Is it not budgeted? If it's not budgeted, is it voted? Do we have proper receipts on that bill, by the way? And has the finance committee been approving those bills to be presented and paid to the treasurer? Those are the things that you should be wanting to see. The lodge is maintaining financial clarity. What about income? Is all incomes accounted for? Investment updates. Okay, if they have an investment committee, a quarterly update is probably fine. But you need to find out what is happening in lodge investments. Do they have an investment policy? Our particular district says, okay, if $5,000 or more in assets, you should have a written investment policy. And any lodge that owns its own building through the temple board certainly has $50,000 in assets. And we're not just talking about cash in the bank or investments, also properties. So again, financial clarity is sort of a hot button. Here's some of the things you can consider. Right, questions? Okay, we'll go on. Acknowledgements. Okay, the lodge is doing a great job. How is it doing? Hey, exemplary ritual by all the officers. Really, that's great. I want to go to that lodge. How are they accomplishing that? Great programs, community, whatever, meetings, etc. All of those things can be in your reports as an acknowledgement. And make sure you say how they're doing it so that other lodges can follow that example. Okay, what should and shouldn't go into your formal report? Another situation. Who is this guy? A past master comes to you with a suspicion that a brother may be using funds to purchase equipment for fundraising, but is also using it for himself as well. There are really no hard facts, but the past master says another lodge member has also witnessed this. What do you do? Again, this is not rhetorical.
I'll ask Bob what to do.
Okay, let's mute Richard. No. So, what do you do? Yes, you can always call the resource.
You're breaking up, Bob.
Oh, say what else should you consider? Boy, it says my internet is I don't know why. Anybody can't hear me?
Perform a simple. I can hear you fine. You can perform a simple audit.
Okay. Okay, you could do a simple audit of you find out if that brother is using it for his own purposes through a simple audit.
Well, it sounded like there was a problem as far as whether or not that is actually bought. So there should be a type through from the secretary's notes for the meeting that says this equipment was bought. Then there should be a location of where that equipment is at between the secretary and the treasurer.
Okay, yep, there should be. What happens if this brother is actually keeping it in his home and then bringing it to fundraisers? It's a very gray area. Let's put it that way. Okay, anybody else?
You might have just a private one-on-one conversation with that person and
With
ask him,
which person?
the person that is suspected of maybe using the popcorn machine
Okay.
that you bought for the baseball games that you're, holding, at a maybe a little league game, and ask him if that's the only time it's being used, or is he
Mhm.
doing something on his own where he's using lodge-owned equipment for personal gain.
Okay. Anybody else? First off,
And if he's
go ahead.
told
Yeah,
the senior warden
Pardon me?
it's his job to make sure he's reeling in the lodge. So if he hasn't passed it up the line to the current officers, it's our duty is to report. The lodge belongs to the Grant Master, and they've got their own chain of command inside of that. So
Okay. Yeah. Should you report this? Should you put this in your report? Again, this is a gray area.
only if there's evidence.
Okay, only if there's evidence. All right.
Definitely not. Not if it's just a suspicion.
Okay. I got 2 definitely nots. Anybody think they should? Okay. Kurt is telling me I have the thumbs down. Oh no. Okay. All right.
I think we should report facts, things that we know for sure,
All right.
not suspicions.
Okay. I will tell you, I would probably put this in my report. The reason I would is that it's a possibility there are some problems in this lodge. I wouldn't use any names. Okay? The other thing I would be very careful of is, why did the past master come to me instead of the worshipful master? Am I kind of being sucked into the lodge politics? Be very cautious, because it will happen to you. You were not there to solve problems for the lodges. You were there to provide resources and report. Whether you do or don't put this formally in your report, it is something that you should be watching. Whether you put it into your own notes to kind of check on, it is a suspicion. You have supposedly 2 brothers who have seen this. But I might, again, just my opinion, I would tell the past master this is something you should take to the worshipful master or the 3 lodge officers and have them investigate. Yeah, Don.
What about if it's a senior warden that has problems with past masters trying to control his moving up to worshipful master?
Oh, ouch. Well, there,
Politics.
that is lodge politics. First off, why do they object to him? Secondly, that is lodge's business. You're not there to run the lodge or interfere in lodge business. So it's hard sometimes to just sit on the sidelines and watch. You can make suggestions and say, is there a concern that this brother is not qualified? I mean, again, the lodge has to make their own decisions.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I told the senior warden in this case that I was here to listen to him, and that's all I've said to him so far. Thank you very much.
All right, that excellent.
I think the other thing you want to think of is the long term. You want to have an objective view of the lodge, and you want to think of if this is going to affect lodge long term, right? So that then that makes it worth reporting, because if this is something it's going to make the lodge unsuccessful or cause a lot of strife or cause a lot of people to just not come to lodge anymore, then it's something that you'd want to put in so that you could tell the electeds, that you could give them a warning that this is happening. so that you just don't write a report one day that says no one's coming to lodge anymore because of the things that happened 6 months ago, right? It's too late to do anything, or the Grand Master might think of calling or something. So those are you try to think of it in that perspective too. You don't want to come to the electeds or the Grand Master with an emergency if you've been watching something smolder for 6 months or a year.
Thank you very much, Michael. Great advice.
If I can add to that, there's nothing wrong with keeping personal notes for yourself. There's also nothing wrong with letting the Grand Master know that, hey, there's some things bubbling in the lodge. I'm keeping an eye on those things. And you're right. You don't want to report on things that aren't factual, right? That aren't backed up by fact. But at the same time, I've always looked at it as I don't want the Grand Master to see it on King 5 News and then come ask me why he didn't know about it 6 months ago, right? When he could have offered some suggestions as to, or maybe have somebody else maybe look into it for you, or, it just think about it in this way. You don't want to get burned in the end, right? You're not there to solve the lodge's problem. It's the lodge's issue. But at the same time, you want to keep the Grand Master informed, I guess. And so in what way can you do that without, you can still do that without giving all the details of the who's, right? I mean, are the who's really important if you don't have, specific details or facts to back it up? No. I think you can say, look, most worshipful, we've got some personality issues that are going on in the lodge, and I'm keeping an eye on it and keep them informed as to how that's going, I guess. But yeah, you don't want to wait until it blows up, because once it blows up, then you got a bigger mess to deal with. So kind of think about it in that way. It's not an easy thing to deal with. It really isn't. If you don't do anything but this, keep notes for yourself. Keep notes, dates, and times of who you talk to. Because if it does get to a point where the Grand Master wants to look into it or anything like that, then you'll have those details to pass on to whoever looks into that matter or investigates it, right? And then they can go check the facts and do the work that needs to be done if it happens to come to that. So if you don't do anything but that, do at least that. Keep notes for yourself, dates and times.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go back here. I agree with what Wishful said. I would not put it in a formal report, because what have you got here? Your hypothetical is pretty thin. You've got a past master with a suspicion. He didn't see anything himself. He says another lodge member witnessed this. The other lodge member could have a, alternative agenda. But keeping your own notes and then going to the Grand Master, because you are a deputy of the Grand Master, and you can report that to him privately. If there is sufficient evidence that turns up, then the Grand Master can appoint a special deputy to look into this. And you don't get caught up in it, but you've got a special deputy that can come in and look at it.
Okay, good. You actually have gone through the next 7. No. Suspicions without any factual data. Okay. Told the junior warden and senior warden are at odds with each other and are trying to undermine each other, but you have not witnessed any instances. Okay, should be should be. You report it until there's something more than just suspicions. I think we pretty well answered that one. Yeah, I would probably keep it in my personal notes. You may want to mention, these are really gray areas. You're going to know your lodges a lot better than what these situations say. If you think that the junior and senior wardens have been at odds before, maybe you want to just throw it in, hey, junior and senior warden may be at odds, don't know yet. So maybe keep it in your personal notes. Gray areas, it's going to be up to your judgment. Okay, come on. There we go. Ask other members about it. Maybe you want to understood. And be very cautious about staying out of lodge politics. What not to report. All right, personal comments for your own information. Yes, keep that information for yourself, but Grand Lodge doesn't need to know. Keep an eye on a new master. He seems like being a new master mason. He seems to be like an newcomer, maybe a future resource team member. And fillers. Hey, Brother Joe did a fine job in his ritualist meeting. Good for Brother Joe. Brother Fred made delicious egg salad sandwiches for fellowship. Next meeting is corned beef and cabbage. I would definitely keep that in my personal notes because I love corned beef and cabbage. However, it really does nothing to inform Grand Lodge. So also make sure you don't put in filler for your reports just to make them look better. Okay. One for you. Not sure if a highly sensitive item should be in a report for all to see. This is happening with myself and another deputy was asked to meet with a and he'd found some. He was a secretary. He happened to be there for a youth meeting. Was a scan card from a camera. Well, he just picked it up, put it in his pocket, couldn't tell whose it was, took it home, opened it up, and there were some highly questionable and explicit photographs. So he was unsure what to do. First off, his personal property. It was left there by accident. Yes, it was the property of a brother. And oh my gosh, what happens if one of the youth groups would have taken it and opened it up? But there were concerns about Masonic conduct, all concerns about the liability, and concerns about the legal aspects of what this is involved. So what do you do if you have a situation like that? That's not a rhetorical question again. What do you do? What would you do?
Bob, can I answer?
Yes, Jerry.
Actually,
No,
I
you
won't.
can't. I take that back, Jerry. No, you can't answer that. No, go ahead. What do you say?
Oh, well, my response would be, well, actually, I'd end up taking it to jurisprudence, or actually to the Grandmaster first directly, and then say, hey, you know, if he wants to refer it to them, then have them take a look at it. But I probably wouldn't say anything to begin with, only because how do I say it? Because I know the individuals. I would say 99% of the time things could be cleared out in house, but I'm not sure if that particular case could have been. So I think I would rather bring it up first,
Yeah.
and then bring it back down to the lower level, I guess.
Yep. And Jerry, whether you know it or not, no, you don't know the individual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. But it's not who you think. All right. Any other input? Okay, highly sensitive. You don't want to put it in your report. What do? Well, you can email or call us if you feel it's sensitive, or if you think it's so sensitive you don't want anybody except the Grand Master to call the Grand Master. Don't email him, call him on the phone. He has an open door policy. Duty is to report to him, I have this situation, Grand Master, I don't know exactly what to do. It's extremely sensitive. I don't want to put it in a report. I don't want to put it down on paper. In this particular situation, we recommended that the deputy take it down to Lodge, physically take it down to Grand Lodge and give it to Right Worshipful Clint, because he is an attorney and secretary. He's an attorney in Texas, and how anybody could be an attorney in Texas with their laws, I don't know. But contact the the Grand Master directly. If it is highly sensitive, do it. If you're unsure, you can always call us. Okay? All right. And in your reports, be very cautious about reporting the same thing every month. If your reports have the same or similar thing in it, are you really doing an accurate job of observing and reporting that to those lodges? So be cognizant, be aware, take a look at what is going on in that lodge, and have fun reporting.
Hey,
All
Bob,
right. Yes.
something I want to say or just add to that last
Yeah.
sentence you had there. I would be cautious about sticking anybody's memory device into my computer. That's a surefire way to wreck your computer and everything you have on it, because you don't know what's on that USB stick. I mean, you might have found it in a lodge. You might think it belongs to a brother, but if that brother doesn't do a diligent job at keeping up on his antivirus stuff, or if it was an outside group who maybe dropped the disc there, so be cautious of that. So.
Good point. Excellent point. Yeah. Okay. The worst thing you can do is not report a situation or concern. It may grow into a problem, and as Right Worshipful said, it may grow into a problem that mushrooms. Nick Master hears about it on King 5 News or Cairo. Not a good situation. It is better to report a concern that goes away than not report a concern that builds. Okay? Again, you get to rely upon your own opinion and resources on that one. However, that is just a cautionary. All right. The report matrix. This is what it looks like. For a couple of years, this is what I gave the Grand Lodge Executive Committee when I gave them the reports. Then it slapped me in the head and said, well, that's great for the XCOM. What about the deputies? They could be receiving this report to see who is and isn't. If you're sending in reports, it's also a great way. You look at that and you go, well, wait a minute. I put an April and a May report in, but you don't have it. Yes, and I have missed them. That way you can email me and admonish my inconsistencies. If you find that you have a 0 there, you're probably going to call from the Grand Master asking, why aren't you filing your reports? So, but this way you can check and make sure that your reports are getting into me, and you should receive a prolific email with all sorts, okay, just one word, thanks, after you send your report in, just to acknowledge, yes, I received that. Okay, should be reporting on Zoom meetings in your monthly reports. Sure. If you're attending Zoom meetings and there's some good stuff happening there, well, we want to know about it, because Zoom meetings are going to be our future for a little while, and we would like to know. I know that there is one lodge, I believe, or district, where they have guest speakers come into their Zoom meetings. What a novel idea. Okay, so report on Zoom meetings. Yes, there's no stated communication. There's no business taken care of. But hey, there may be something good going on there. We'd like to know about it. Where do you send your reports? All right. All you have to do is email them. Email them to the deputies' mailbox, deputies@freemason-wa.org. Easy to do. Put them in an email, and there it is. Now, please send your reports in Word document, doc or docs, please. Why? Because I go through every one of your reports and put them into a Word doc for the X committee. They don't have to open up 27 or 30 emails and close them to look at the reports. They don't have to open one up, look at it, close it, go to the next one, open it up, close it. Do correlate all the reports. If you send it in a PDF, I got to take that report out, go through a conversion process to Word, get it back in, and then put it back in. So please, put your reports in Word. Thank you. Also, when you format your email subject line, would you please put your district in there? just say, hey, it's from Mike. Well, we got a couple of Mikes. I think we got a couple of Davids. We got, a Mark or two. Please put, District 44 or District 44 November for your November monthly report, or OV, ABC Lodge for official visit, or DM for your district meeting. Make it so it's a little descriptive so I can look at it and say, oh, yes, that's from Mike in District 15, and know right away. All right, that's why. Yes, I'm making a lot of requests. Please send each type of report in a separate email. Set your monthly report in one email. Official visit, you can put multiple official visits in one email. And district meetings in one email. Okay? Why? I put every report into its own folder so you can find it. I put the monthly reports by the year and month. I put the official visit reports by the year and district meeting reports by the year. If you put them all into one email, I can't separate them out. They're either going to go official visit or a district meeting folder, and you may not be able to find them very easily. You're going to have to do a little searching as it is, but at least you can know where the monthly reports are. Okay? When are monthly reports due? Okay, this has been a little confusing in the past. They are due the Sunday following the first full week of the month. Okay, this month, if your reports were due, which when they're not, Saturday was August 1st. That means that the first full week is the 2nd through the 8th. And that means that your report would be due on August 9th. That's the Sunday following the first full week. I usually will put out a little nagging reminder also, but in case I forget. And by the way, yeah, you're going to miss a month sometime. I mean, life happens. You're on vacation. You had that hour's vacation, cup of coffee, put your feet up. Things happen. You can put it in a little bit late. You may miss 1 month. That's okay. But make sure you get your reports in. Access to the mailbox. How do you go in and find past reports? Hopefully everybody received a digital copy of the Deputy Handbook. If you didn't receive a digital copy, let me know. But you should have received a digital copy of the handbook and some of the templates in that handbook. If you go to the update section, which is sort of the very last section in the appendix, give you how to get into the deputy mailbox. You have to go through a procedure to get into the mailbox. I will also forewarn you that the password changes every 6 months. And sometimes the administrator of Grandview and the mailbox doesn't let us know. I think that has just happened. So that password may not work. I tried in Friday. I couldn't get in to the mailbox.
Yeah. Okay.
So it may have changed. I have a question into Clint to find out what's going on. Yeah, our administrator doesn't always let us know. So we'll find out. And I will let you know after I find out what's going on with the mailbox. Okay, that's really it for me. It was a pretty quick one this week. You have any questions, any comments, any gripes? Hearing none? Oh, no. Any gripe? Yes, Don.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a special deputy assigned to a lodge in my district. How do I work with him?
Very carefully. You should be speaking with him about that lodge. Really, that lodge is now his responsibility. However, you two should be current on what's going on in that lodge, because he's going to be a special deputy for a while, but you're going to be the district deputy a lot longer than hopefully a lot longer than he is. So you should be communicating with him on a fairly regular basis. And he should be communicating with you also. He may not be able to tell you everything that's going on, because again, there may be some very sensitive items that he and the Grand Master are concerned about. But again, yeah, definitely you should be chatting together.
Thank you very much.
Bob, I have a question.
Yes, Dave.
It concerns the situation that we're in right now, where lodges are not meeting except by Zoom.
Yes.
And I'm getting invites to sit in on those lodge meetings in District 2.
Yes.
But I have not been doing any reporting in terms of what we're talking about here today.
Yeah.
With regard to those meetings. So am I delinquent?
Everybody else is not delinquent, but David, yes, you are. No. Actually, no, we are not requiring any reporting until we come out of this and actually meet in seated communications. However,
Thank you.
yeah. However, we also are encouraging you, if in those meetings you find some things that are interesting that can be applied to other lodges, yeah, please let us know. Or you may even just want to practice that report template and just say, hey, I'm sending this in to make sure that it works, etc. Anything that you need to be corrected on there, let me know as well. Yes.
Yeah, Bob Kovac here. Say, speaking of the report template, any chance you could maybe concoct a classic example of a good monthly report, for, a generic lodge or something like that, that some of the newer guys can look at, and maybe some of the older guys to see what they've been missing for a while?
I believe there is an example in the appendix of the handbook to check, but I believe there is, yes.
Okay, I'll go back and check on it. Thank you.
All right.
Bob,
Okay.
can't they also look at the old reports? Do they get a
Sure.
chance?
Well-
Can't they go to their district through Grandview and see older reports? Or is that just OV reports?
I don't, they can't do it in Grandview. I'm not sure about now that. They're doing some things for the deputies in Grandview. Let me write that down. But they can't, right now, as far as I know, you can't get into the deputy mailbox because of the password situation. Let me find out about Grandview. It's a great question, Mike. Thanks.
Yeah, to answer Richard's question, you should, that's what we have been working on. You should be able to go into Grandview and see past reports to look at examples of OV reports, district reports, and monthly reports.
I'm not sure that's in Grandview, Mike. It may be in the mailbox,
Okay.
the deputy mailbox.
All right.
But I'm going to check on that because I know they're working on stuff for the deputies to be able to access things through Grandview. So we'll check on that.
Bob,
Okay. Yes.
at the end of June, I submitted a report on the 6 of the 8 lodges in the district that were doing Zoom meetings, and it was very general. But I did it, unfortunately, in Word and then a PDF attachment to the email, and sent it to you. Did you receive that? Or I know now I know that that's not the way to submit the report, but do you recall that?
I would have to check, Mike. Like I say, I get about 7 to 30 reports every month. So I would have to check. I believe I got that and did convert it, but I'm going to have to look. I'll come back to you.
Well, I won't cause you that problem again.
Okay, Mike, I know where you live.
Come on up. It's lonely here on the island. Except for Richard Kovac, who is my neighbor.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
That's right. Oh, and Bob, if you ever do find out what the password is for the mailbox, could you let the rest of us know?
oh, absolutely. I should know next week. Yeah. As soon as I find out, I will let you know.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or concerns? No? Okay. Any gripes? Oh, hearing none. Okay. We will meet then again next week on the 23rd, and we will be going through your official visits. We'll go through the official visit. There's a template. You might want to look in your handbook. There is a template. And basically, we're going to go through some of the things that are in the handbook, and then have any questions you might have. So if that's it, we will see you next Sunday. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay hydrated.